there's a lot of debt that's going to be coming due from the buyout wave, of 06 and 07. How are people seeing that? Is that a concern? And we talked about lenders before. I mean, are there going to be people out there to finance these things?
Well, that's like my favorite point of discussion, because people forget a couple years ago when it was summer of 07 and the Bear Stearns hedge funds had just blown up and everybody thought the world was coming to an end. And in fact, the CLO market pretty much came to a dead stop. And when it did, there was a pipeline of, $280 billion of deals that were stuck when the music stopped without, they didn't have a chair to sit down on. And everybody thought, well, there's this $280 billion pipeline with no CLOs or no financing outs. How do we get that done? Okay, so the world is going to come to an end, right? Well, here we are 2 years later. Does anybody remember what happened to that $208 billion pipeline? Well, it got absorbed either because the deals didn't get done, they got canceled, or the banks that had underwritten them held onto them and then dribbled it out in syndications, through the back door. Or the deals just got extended until they could get done in the market, and then they got done. And essentially, we have a zero pipeline from those days. Now we're worried about another growing pipeline. I mean, to me, it's like this Mayan calendar coming due in December of 2012. All of a sudden, people are worried about that.
Hey, wait a second, I said that was off limits.
Now they got a movie about that? It's like, what is going on? I didn't know there was a Mayan calendar, let alone that it was coming due in December of 2012. People love to have this looming thing, this refinancing cliff, whatever. It'll get the whole purpose of corporate finance is to kick the can down the road. That is why we exist, all right? So with this refinancing cliff, those refinancings will get done. It will get kicked down the road. Some of those companies will go bankrupt, but some of them will get refinanced. Look at the high yield market, for God's sake. In the middle of the worst credit crisis ever, we've had, I think it's the second largest high yield boom, okay? These deals will get refinanced in some way or fashion. That's my belief. But you can come back in 2 years. We'll see if I'm right.
Anybody have a counter?
I agree. I mean, I can't. The notion that 6 months from March that we're talking about dividend recaps already, I think is a great sign of how resilient the capital markets are in thinking about. I think a lot of it is driven by what the macro environment looks like at the time. I mean, so you do have this big overhang that's going to come due in 12 and 13, and it could be ugly if the macro situation, these businesses are not kind of growing through these leverage issues, and some of them just won't be able to because they're just too over levered. But I think this will be very likely to work itself through, and there'll be challenges and businesses that go belly up, but I think we'll probably be fine.
And I think the extension concept is one that you're going to see an awful lot of. I mean, even right now, you have credits that may have covenant defaults that are just constantly in forbearance. The banks are constantly letting them go because they have so many other things that they're trying to deal with. And I think you're going to find the same thing's going to happen if they come down to a point in time where you've hit a maturity date, but the company is performing. They're going to continue to extend and forbear on a periodic basis, and eventually it will get itself worked out.